Welcome to the Profitpreneur Power Play podcast, your daily dose of strategies, insights, and action steps to grow your business and build your freedom. It's time to stop playing small and start making power plays.
Hello there. Happy Thursday. Is this Thursday? I am your host to this amazing podcast. My name is Valerie Walton, and today we have a very special guest because not only is she brilliant with mindset and manifestation, but she's also my daughter. Yes, Brilliance with Bree. Bree Lewis is on today. She is a mindset and manifestation coach, YouTuber, and just really is all into self-growth and personal development. She's the creator behind multiple Faceless YouTube channels with over 63,000 subs, one of which grew its first 20,000 subscribers in under a year and is now soaring past 45K. So she is going to be with us today. I am super excited about what she's going to talk about. So let's bring her on out. Hey, Bree. I don't hear anything.
Sorry, I was muted. Hi.
All right. So, do you have your topic today? What are we talking about today?
We're actually talking about faceless content today. So.
Okay. So,
and you need to update that, by the way. We're soaring past 50K now.
Ooh, y'all hear that? Soaring. Look, I had to lean into the mic. Soaring past 50K. Congratulations to you for that. I'll be up soon to borrow $5. And all right, let me get out of here so you can go ahead and dive into your topic today.
All right. Alrighty. So today, sorry, I had to adjust the volume. Today, I'm doing something a little bit different. I know normally, I'm getting into like the mindset stuff with you guys. And I mean, I still kind of am, but I'm going to actually talk to you guys about faceless content, which, like my mom just said, is something that I do and have been doing for quite some time now. So I've been on both sides of the spectrum. Face present content, faceless content. And if you see me looking, I do have some notes so I stay on track and I don't start yapping and rambling. Okay. So like I said, I'm no stranger to this. I've had some faceless channels all around or about the same niche, but showing and doing different things. All right. Now, faceless channels, specifically with YouTube, they have gotten very popular the past couple of years. And I, of course, will say that's obviously due to like more AI tools and stuff like that have come out. But faceless content in general has been a thing for a long time now. Okay. Different variations of it have been around. So this is not anything new. It's not, how can I learn how to do it? This seems like something. No excuses. People have been doing this for years. Okay. For example, blogs, right? People have had blogs, whether it was Blogspot, LiveJournal, Tumblr, whatever it was, and you have the capability to like run ads and stuff like that. So people have been making and producing content that is profitable, that does not require having to get all dolled up, dressed up, and putting their faces up. Okay. Another example would be people on YouTube that do Let's Play videos, right? Even my brother at one point, he was posting gaming videos. Let's Play videos are also game videos. They just have added commentary. What's another one? I had another example. And I was like, I got to make sure I remember this. Another one is there's some people on YouTube that do literal study with me videos. They will sit there with their back facing the camera and they'll have like some royalty-free music on and they'll be sitting there studying in real time. And people, myself included, actually use those videos when I'm working just as background noise and they can help me stay focused. So there's tons of different avenues for content like this. Another one, some people sketch, they draw, they'll take a top-down view camera and they will record themselves drawing or sketching or painting. Faceless content. I mean, you can see their hand, you can see their hand, right? But overall, the content in and of itself does not require you having to see them. Okay. But that was more example I meant to give y'all. Another one would be deep dive videos, right? I'm a sucker for a great deep dive, iceberg, going down the rabbit hole, 2-hour long, 3-hour long YouTube video. And again, a lot of those, they feature pictures, some B-roll, right? Some B-sides, but not so much of the person's face, maybe a voiceover at the most. But that's it. That's it, right? And also for some of these people, I mentioned AI earlier, there's now tools, like I said, that you can use. Things like, I was telling my mom just some time ago about a tool where you can record your voice just speaking for a good 2 to 3 minutes and import it into their program or whatever. And the system will remember your voice. That way, let's say you want to do a video on something, but you don't have time to sit down and record it. Write the script, put the script in the tool will generate it, and it'll basically be you talking. It'll be whatever your narration would have been for the video. Still don't require you to put your whole face and eyeballs on the internet, okay? So like I was saying, there is a variety, okay? There's a lot of faceless content examples, and it's likely that at least every day you are coming into contact with a good 3 to 4 pieces of faceless content, whether you realize it or not. And this does include offline as well. Not even just scrolling, right? So let's talk about some perks. Let's talk about some benefits to faceless content, and what would encourage a person to even need or want to make it, right? Because for years, I feel like, especially what I want to say maybe the last 10 years, people have pushed this notion that, oh, the only way that you can be seen online and be successful online or make money or whatever, making content, is by people seeing your face, right? Connecting with you, being able to relate to you. And I do think that there is I think there's a time and a place, there's niches where I do feel like to a certain degree that might be more required than others. But just as much as you can make content showing your face, you can now also make content not showing your face, okay? So first of all, faceless content is a great way for people that are shy or anxious or got the online equivalent of stage fright, internet fright, maybe. Or if you're like me and you're someone that does like to keep some of your privacy, faceless content would be great, right? And also at the same time, you have accessibility, right? So for example, let's say that I have a job where they're like, so excuse me, but our company doesn't want you talking about that. So you're not allowed. Okay. Let's keep the personal posts. Let's keep them on a minimum, right? But let's say there's a show I want to watch, like The Bachelorette, right? The Bachelor and the Bachelorette. Okay. And I want to record recap videos talking about what I saw, right? Now my work won't let me. How can I have accessibility, right, to that culture, right, to being able to post, to being able to talk about what I want, but at the same time not sacrifice my job over a reality TV show, right? Faceless content. I can take stills and clips from the episode, right, and make that be the video, and then I can just record my voice, or I could get an AI program that I could generate a voice through. It's my script. The AI might be saying my script, but I still get to share my thoughts, share my opinions, post about it. And guess what? Also create another avenue of income. Well, I should have said avenue of revenue. That would have been cute. Anyway, another avenue of revenue through a channel, or again, a blog. I could be making a blog, doing recaps, talking about what I saw. So it's things like that where you can kind of work around, and faceless content becomes a benefit to you, right? You're able to express yourself freely without risking anything online, right? Now, my generation calls it having a digital footprint, okay? I remember there was some months back where there was an office siren TikTok trend that was going on, and the girlies were getting dressed up in outfits that were cute, but you wouldn't actually wear it to work, and people were, some of their employers were seeing them, and they were getting laid off. They were getting fired. They were getting temporarily suspended over these videos, right? Or people making certain jokes on TikTok, right? And their bosses were seeing it. Digital footprint. Why? Because your face, your name, everything is attached to it. And of course, a lot of the time, employers also will check your socials now, because so many people document their lives on it and do so many things on it. I know even for me, after a while with acting, people were wanting, it was like, forget the resume, you got socials. Like, what are you doing on there? So it's the same thing. Your socials now are essentially a resume for a lot of people. And because of that, they have to be very, very careful about what they post. And there is a way to keep those things separate. Okay. And also just to note another thing, for me with acting, right? Well, I was gonna say everyone knows, not everybody, but one thing was I always had to have, is my camera blurry, y'all? Sorry. I had a headshot and a resume. And so I always had to match the appearance of my headshot. I always had to look exactly how my headshot photo was. Otherwise, I go to a job, they're like, who's this? Like, you had straight hair in your picture and you've got braids. What's going on? Who is this? That's not the look that we were given, right? So again, by me being able to do YouTube and do faceless content, I could keep my appearance the same, but still post and wouldn't have to worry about sacrificing or losing anything. Okay. Another thing I want to add with faceless content is that the who's this? The main things that hold people back from posting a lot of the time is, but how am I gonna look though? How am I gonna come off on the camera? Don't have to worry about that. No excuses. No excuses, right? When you do faceless content, you're able to prioritize exactly that, the content. You're able to put all your creativity into the content over your appearance, right? Now, if you guys have listened to any of my other calls, I'm someone that loves to study human nature. I like psychology a little bit. I'm like, I like to ponder and wonder. Okay, I love to do that. And one thing that fascinates me that I've learned about over the years, a lot of you may have heard it as pretty privilege or the halo effect, but it's very interesting to see how attractiveness or appearance in general affects how we do or don't respond to someone or something, how we interact with someone, and how we value what they're saying or not saying based off of that. Right. And I feel like a lot of messages get lost in translation because of this. Right. I can't tell you guys how many times I was sharing a thought or an opinion or recording content or a video on something, and the person completely ignored everything I said or boiled everything I said down to my appearance, whether it was positive or negative. And I'm just like, my appearance doesn't have anything to do with the content, the material, the value that I'm trying to provide you. But because you're so hooked on appearance, you're not hearing me though. I say that all the time to my family. Like, you're not listening, you're not hearing me though, you're not catching the message. Okay. So that's another thing in a way that can be beneficial with faceless content, if that's something that you're concerned about. You don't have to rely on looking a certain way or be worried about people not really getting what you're saying, because they're like, I don't know, I don't think those frame of glasses look good on you. And you sit up here talking about, how to run ads, and they talk about your glasses. It's like it went over. Okay. So, yes, like I was saying, when you do faceless content, you're able to pour all that time and focus into the actual content instead of all of these other things, right? You get to focus on how you want to tell your story, how to add humor into what it is, how to edit, or how much time you can designate to editing, right? It saves you some time as well. So just that in and of itself makes faceless content more valuable to me. Even with my channels, I was able to put all my creativity into building the brand, my videos, the quality, the programs I was using. It's unmatched thinking about it now, especially like I said, I used to do content where I did show my face, but the faceless content is significantly easier. And I will get to another point on it being easier in a split second, because I do have one. Okay. The next thing that I have noticed personally with faceless content is that it is a little bit more sustainable, right? And it's a little bit more predictable, right? You can post often, you can post daily without having to worry about lighting, cameras. Oh, I can't record because my camera battery is not charged. Oh, I can't record because my computer's lagging. My computer got to update. Oh, I can't record because the sun's going to go down in 2 hours and I need 3 hours to record, right? You don't have to worry about any of that. Actually, the more I think about it, I think this also might be why I don't act anymore, because that would be a big issue. I would go to a gig and we would had to film or record something, and it'd be car horns going on in the background or sirens or something, and we'd have to sit there waiting. Now, for me, I got paid overtime, so I was like, take as long as y'all want. Go on ahead. But outside of acting specifically, that is annoying, and it pushes back you being able to get out content faster, sooner, when you wanted to originally have it up. Okay. And another thing, well, I kind of already said this, but yes, when you have to sit down and coordinate a time to film, especially if, you live in a house with kids, right? You have a full family, you have pets and stuff like that. You got people in and out of the house, closing doors, opening doors, going up and down the steps, coming down in the fridge. Mom, I need to cook a grilled cheese real quick. Whatever it is, it's always in the way. It's messing it up. But when you do faceless content, especially if you're doing things that's more generated, right? AI generated, easier. And let me also say, I'm not, super encouraging AI. I do have some things about AI that got me a little side eye, but for the most part, when you use AI as a tool to help you instead of doing like every single instance of the work, because AI can also have errors. But when you use it as a tool, you will notice that is you working smarter and not harder. Okay. And yes, Mom was right. Overtime for the acting gigs and the food, the lunch. That was excellent. All right. Another thing that I wanted to say is that with faceless content, and I'm going to get into branding a little bit for a second, because if you pay attention to a lot of celebrities as well, you will notice that they also do this. Okay. I mentioned earlier, me liking, human nature and psychology and all of that. And one thing that you will come to learn is, as much as we do like to connect with other people and other human beings, there is a very, very, very strong power in being a blank canvas. Now, me saying that, some of y'all know exactly what I mean, but it is significantly easier for people to actually connect with a blank canvas, because what can you do with a blank canvas? You get to look at it and say, I put this on it. And you know what you just did? Project. You just projected onto the canvas. And we do that with people too, right? For example, I went out a while ago and I noticed that the person that I was talking to in a way was a little bit of a blank canvas, because they weren't sharing very much about themselves. And so that allowed me to, when I would have conversation with them or I would talk to them, they would kind of parrot whatever it was that I was saying, or they would not say very much in response. And that would make me think, oh, this is a nice person. They just sitting here, letting me talk, letting me yap. And it's like, no, they presented themselves as a blank canvas for me to project on, right? So they were, in a sense, making me mirror me. So for a lot of you, right, for example, Beyonce, right? She's a celebrity that I would say these days is a little bit of a blank canvas, because you don't know her thoughts and feelings and emotions. You don't connect with her because she doesn't sit down doing, Instagram lives or Facebook lives or anything like that, right? So you see her, you think, oh, I like her. But then the question is, well, why, if you don't know anything about her, right? And this is the second part to that. When a person is a blank canvas, right? Or in this, I shouldn't say a blank canvas, but when they are more of a blank canvas, but they are also providing you something at the same time, they're providing you with value, they're providing you with content, and that content is something that affects you positively or brings you positive emotions, you now correlate them and you feel connected to them because they make your life easier in a way. If someone does something or they compliment you, right, that makes you feel good. So now you deem that person as, oh, they're really nice. That was really nice of them, right? And so that draws you to them too. So just as much as you can connect with someone by letting them see your face and know all these details about you, if you provide content that is valuable and it inflicts a positive response or a positive effect or a positive emotion on somebody, they will also still feel connected to you. They will come back, right? They will, I was going to say continue to listen, since I was on Beyonce and I'm thinking about music now, but they will continue to return. So you can still have that pattern. You can still have that loop. You can still have that sense of connection with somebody, even if you don't reveal all the details or reveal really anything about yourself. What are you providing to this person that's valuable, but also makes them feel seen in a way and makes them feel like you're doing something for them? You're giving them something. Okay. For example, right, one of my faceless channels, nobody knows anything about me. They don't know what I look like. They don't know my name. They have a range for what they think my age might be, but they don't know my age. They don't know anything about my family. They know absolutely nothing. But because I post valuable content for them, because I keep them engaged, because I'm talking about something that interests them or that they like, they continue to come back. And again, they're focused on what? My content, not how I look, right? For example, there was a lady that I saw that was on, I think, TikTok and YouTube. And I happened to check her YouTube. And apparently she was a dating coach, but she was single. So she had a lot of advice for women that were single. Then she went and got married. What do you guys think happened? Anybody want to take a wild guess? She got married, and a lot of people were like, wait a minute, you married now. You don't know what you're talking about. I need to go listen to somebody who's also single like me. And then they left. Now, had she had a faceless channel, right, what she could have done was do voiceover videos, slide, putting up like pictures or B-roll clips. And, she could have posted advice that way. People wouldn't have known her name, wouldn't have known what she looked like, wouldn't have known that she even got married. She could have chosen to announce that or not, but she would have been able to stick to what the largest part of her audience was, which was single women. So again, it's not always to your benefit to connect yourself personally to and with your brand. Now, logically, yes, what my mom's saying right now, yes, logically, just because she went from being single to married does not mean that she doesn't still have experiences from singlehood or being single that she can't still continue to talk about, right? But for most people, they think, and because visuals are so strong, they're so powerful, they think, well, you're married now, so you don't really get to talk about what we are, because you're not in the crew, you're not in the club anymore. So then they leave, right? And of course, some of her audience did still stay because they wanted to have tips for when they also eventually end up married, like she was now married. But that's how a lot of people are going to think about that and look at it. Oh, you don't get it no more. Never mind. And then they move on. But there are ways that she could have had a more faceless channel and kept it to that audience that she had, and she wouldn't have lost any people. All right. And again, when you, because for me, to circle back to me, like I said, with me having my channel more faceless, that also feels nice because it does go to show that people are actually paying attention to the content. They are there for the content. They are not there for what you do or don't look like. And that honestly, in a way, kind of relieves a bit of stress, right? It's like, oh, I don't look good. I know people are going to say something, or, oh no, I got a pimple today. I know people are going to point it out instead of what I wanted to talk about or what I was going to get on with. All right. Now, another thing I want to say about faceless content, which is, I don't think it'll resonate with everybody, but one thing that there's been studies on the past couple of years, because it is something recent, is the development of parasocial relationships. An example of this is all of you that are watching right now, you can see me, but I can't see you. And because, like I said, connecting with a person and having those visuals is very powerful, you guys are going to feel a lot more drawn to me than I feel to you, because to you, it feels like, oh, this one person is talking specifically to me. Whereas to me, I'm talking to whoever happens to watch, right? So this creates a relationship, an emotional imbalance, because you had all these people like, oh, wow, it was like she was talking just to me. And I'm like, yep, well, I was talking to the class, you know what I'm saying? So when you have a faceless channel, that also creates an emotional sort of separation, a sort of disconnect too. You're not sharing your face. And this also goes for people that leave comments, right? A lot of the time, if a person does leave a negative comment, they have one less thing to comment on, which is your face. And a lot of people will go for your appearance because it's easy, it's simple, and whatever they do point out a lot of the time is something that you can't change, right? Or you can't change immediately. I remember hearing someone say, don't say anything about someone's appearance if it's not something that they can change within 5 minutes, which would mean like fixing their makeup, their hair, adjusting their clothes. If it's not anything that they can fix, keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. Don't be rude, basically. But I'm getting slightly off track. Main point is because you're less vulnerable, people don't even know what you look like. The only thing that they really can complain about would be something about the content. So you're less likely to take it to heart. If it's just something about that, especially if you make content and you know it's good, it's literally just B-roll and a voiceover, they just hating, they just took a sip, one too many of the haterade. Okay. But anyway, I think this is maybe like the last point I'm going to say about this. Last point, sorry. So another thing with having a faceless channel, right, is let's say that you grow your channel to a certain point or a certain audience, right? And you say, I think I want to do something else, or I want to move on, right? If you have a channel that is not connected to a person who is the brand, who's the face of it, right? That makes it significantly easier for you to eventually sell it or donate it, right? There was one channel that I followed for a long time. It was called Looks Theory. And one day the whole channel just completely changed and was revamped. And people were like, what happened? And the owners were like, oh, someone sold it to us. Now, I didn't know who the face was. I knew their logo and I knew the name of the channel, but it was significantly easier for them to shift their brand over to another person, to someone else, because there was no face of the brand, right? Versus there was another channel I like that was I think it was called Charisma on Command, and I knew that guy. There was a guy that was the face of the whole channel, and then he disappeared and it fell out and all this stuff happened, and people were like, where did Charlie go? Where is he? Right? So again, got to be careful with that. You got to be really careful with that. There are a lot of benefits to having your channel faceless and making the content the center, right? And I know, like I said, a lot of people will say, oh, well, you want your name attached to everything. You want your face everywhere because you want people to know that you're the owner, you're the owner, you're the owner. Let me say something else that might tickle you a little bit, okay? Aside from being able to potentially, sell the brand and, move it over to someone else, right? Oh wait, sorry, you guys, my internet was acting a little funny. It seemed like it did. Yep. Okay, sorry, internet was acting funny. So for example, let's say you order, right? Everyone orders, right? To a certain degree, everyone gets some fast food, right? Do you know the names and what the faces of the CEOs and all of that look like? Do you know what they look like have any effect on you getting that Big Mac? I don't think so. Does it have any effect on you getting that Wingstop? I don't think so. Right? Why? Because your focus is on the content, the food. You want the food. And if you ever do complain or have a complaint, 9 times out of 10, it's about what? The content, not the CEO, not what the CEO looks like, or what the CEO is doing. You don't care. It's about the food. So it's the same thing with having a faceless channel, having faceless content, a faceless blog, right? You get to keep the focus on what it's supposed to be on. And you have far more flexibility in terms of where that content is going to go in the future, right? And let's say, like I said, if you want to change your niche or anything like that, I feel like it's a lot easier if you have more faceless content, right? Because if you make great content and the audience was there for that and you happen to change your niche or whatever, again, that was always what they were there for. It doesn't matter what shifts or what changes or anything like that. And again, to go back to my CEO point, here's another thing. CEOs change all the time. One week it was so-and-so, next week it's so-and-so. Then something happened with the CEO. A lot of times, sometimes happened, the CEO step down and you don't even know. You don't know anything about that. Why? Because they don't lead with that. That's not the point. They're not hard pressed for you to know their names and know who's in charge and all of that. They built up a brand. Now, the thing that you do see all the time, sometimes it might change is what? Maybe the company's logo, right? That's the main thing that's consistent that you attach to something. But again, that's more recognition than it is, pattern recognition, than it is, attaching a specific person to the content. So hopefully that covered, that was me rooting for faceless content. And like I said, I'm not in any way bashing content that is face present. Both of them have their benefits. However, I do think for people that, you want to post and you're not sure how, or let's say you even do want to start something out, maybe eventually you want to reveal your face. I don't know how you would, but you want to eventually reveal, you can start it off faceless, see how it goes, and then decide if you want to do that versus starting something from scratch and plastering your face all over somewhere and then it don't work out or it fails or flops or something. I don't know, child. Whatever, God forbid that happens to you. But I am always going to be an advocate for faceless content. And like I said, I've had success both faceless and also with channels where I was sitting there for hours talking, right? One of my first channels that I ever had was me getting a camera, no lighting, no specific time of day, just me sitting in front of the camera, no cuts, no editing, nothing, just talking. And it blew up. But after a while, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I didn't even want to do that. I didn't even feel like sitting in front of a camera, getting all ready, getting my hair and makeup done. Faceless content, you know what you could do if you wanted to? Not saying you should. You could sit butt naked in your chair, in your office, at home, not in the workplace. We don't want HR showing up. But at home, making content, and nobody would know. But hey, you're in the comfort of your home, right? little things like that. And that's an extreme exaggeration. Don't sit at home but in the office. I mean, it's your house. I'm not gonna tell you what to do in your house, you know. But point being, faceless content is absolutely an option, and there's no reason for you to rule it out. Consider it.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, I had just commented. I was like, oh my God, you made me do a spit take. I didn't know that's where you were going with that.
It just came out. It just came out.
Oh, but that is, I mean, that's true. Like a lot of times you see these jokes about people on Zooms and they're like all dressed up here. They got their blazer on and they tie, and then they got on like Bermuda shorts on the bottom.
Yeah.
Or in their underwear or whatever. So, I mean, yeah, you totally could. What I love that you're sharing about faceless content is just the freedom of it.
Mm-hmm.
The freedom of it. I think sometimes those of us that do, uh, you know, not faceless, faceful,
Face present is what I said.
face present video is we look, not me, but some folks will look at it and be like, you're hiding, you don't want to show yourself. But you know, brands can be created without you being the face of the brand. It's
Yeah.
just that, you know, with a lot of us in various um niches and industries, a lot of times we are the face of the brand, but you don't have to be. And I feel like that is liberating for a lot of people. It takes
Yeah.
off a lot of pressure of, do I look right for
Yeah.
this? And like you said, like you'll have people, you know, you're trying to talk to them about something serious or help them with something that they even requested that you put out as content, and they want to talk about your glasses or your necklace or something. And it's like, can we stay on task here? And they
Yeah.
just, you know, so I think that's helpful. And even with what you were saying with like with your job, I actually had a coaching client that was like, I don't even know if you can help me because I work a government job. They do not allow me to get on social media, period. Like I can't have a social media account with my, you know, my name and information on it.
Mm-hmm.
So what can I do? Now, at that time, faceless content wasn't that popular,
Yeah.
but it could still be done. It was just a lot harder to do. This was like 8 years ago, so it was a little harder to do. But now, I mean, I just got some tips from you. I got some tips from a couple other folks that do faceless, or they do both.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm about to dive in. I'm gonna have you. You hired me as a coach at one point. I'm gonna have to hire you as a coach now because I find it fascinating and I don't like to limit myself. I think
Yeah.
it's a great idea to, excuse me, have those avenues of revenue, right? And
Yeah.
be able to, you know, do different things, because there's sometimes where you got one channel that's kind of slow, not doing that great, but if you got another channel, you can totally grow it. And I think this is one of the few platforms where you actually can create multiple streams of income on the one platform. I know
Yeah.
network marketers talk about multiple streams a lot, but see, if that's gone, then so is all of those streams of income. On
Right.
YouTube, if you don't have a stream of income coming in from AdSense on one channel, you still have those other ones. So
Yeah.
that's always good too. And for somebody like me, I have so many different interests and talents and experience in life with different things that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna need multiple channels, but I don't want people to be like, hold up, I just saw her over here. And that's what we were talking about. It would seem a little weird in my mind. I'm just thinking that's what people would think.
Yeah.
So there goes me exposing my insecurities, y'all. Y'all get to see even confident people have insecurities about certain things. And I'm just like, but see, if it was faceless, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
And
And
I'm,
I did
yeah,
forget to mention that especially with a lot of faceless content, you'll have like ads and things like that. But also for a lot of them, depending on how big your content or your channel gets, you would also have sponsorship revenue too.
yes,
So
yes. Looking
yeah.
forward to that.
What's
That
up?
would be nice too. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you kind of went blurry for a second. And yeah, Jeff says, thank you for giving some insight into faceless. I have to agree that for new creators, screen fright is real. and Faceless is a positive strategy for them to get started. Thank you
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sharing your thoughts on that, Jeff. And yeah, me personally, I totally agree. And this is coming from somebody that I don't get stage fright, like, ever. Like, even back when I was younger, and some of y'all may not know this, but I was a dance instructor, a choreographer, and before I started instructing, I was dancing, and I loved being on stage. The only time I got nervous was, when you're waiting in the wings, and it's like right before it's time for you to take your first step out onto the stage. I felt jittery, but I think that was more excitement than like fear. Because I really didn't, I didn't feel afraid, but it was the excitement of like, I am getting ready to go on this stage. I'm gonna tear this stage up, y'all. This is gonna be fun. Like, I just really enjoy being on stage, or being in front of the camera, like modeling and stuff. It was fun. It was just uncomfortable.
Mm.
um but yeah, so we really appreciate this. I would love for you to come back. You guys, whether you're watching live or if you watch the replay, share this sentiment if you agree. But I would love for you to come back and talk some more about like simple ways that a person could get started with faceless content. We also will have that. Oh my gosh. Okay. How do I put this? With Profitpreneur, we have all of the other education tracks coming out like really soon, you guys. We had a bit of a delay, but it's coming out. And if you're planning on doing something like that with like product or service, or you just want to create content, these are the things that we will be showing you how to do. So we do talk about faceless versus would you call it
Face present.
face present? Yeah. So we're teaching both of those. I know for sure I didn't call it that, but I don't know. So yeah, make sure that if you get in now, there's actually a really great deal of 51% off coming into our membership now, so that when these other tracks open up and you may want to do an add-on, you'd be able to do them, saving yourself a lot of money. So make sure that you do that. If you have questions, you can always reach out to us. Our contact information is inside of the channel description. But Bree, again, thank you so much, because I've been curious about it. I know tons of people have been curious about it because of what you said. There's so many channels popping up now.
Yeah.
Some of them are faceless and they're not really good. You like, Shay, I know that was AI. Get
Yeah.
off.
That's
But,
also true.
yeah, but a lot of them are really phenomenal. And there's one channel, you guys, I would recommend you go look at, is Magnates Media. Not only does he do faceless content, but it's like the 3D looking storytelling that he does about business owners and like their backstory and stuff. That is a very well produced channel.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely looking to kind of reach out and gain some info from him as well, that we can also share with our community in our training. So
Mm-hmm.
thank you so much. Oh, wait, one more question real quick before we go. See, I caught it, Jeff, before we ended the stream. Do you prefer short video or long form for marketing? Lean heavy one way or the other?
I almost want to say that it would be specific to your niche.
Mm,
I don't see why you couldn't do a little bit of both. Maybe focus on making long form, and then that way you can break down some of your long form content into shorter pieces versus
mm.
having to, film short form and then also do long form.
Yep.
I also think that a lot of people these days are kind of liking and craving more long form content because we've had years prior of short form, TikTok, YouTube shorts. People are like, I want to sit down and like not ruin my attention span. Like I want to watch an actual like video where they want to cut something on while they're doing something else. I know I do that a lot. Like I said, I play a lot of videos, and I'll read articles like while I'm working or in between. Like I'll have a lunch break of 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, perfect, 15-minute video. So
Yep.
long
Yep.
form, I personally would say long form, but depending on the niche, it could be different. But I don't feel like you could go wrong doing long form and then potentially breaking it up in the future.
Yeah. And just for me to chime in on that, I agree. I've been so used to doing longer form content because I would go live so much. That's how I got my start in front of the camera. And also to just kind of shake off the cobwebs or shake off the fear. You get on and you talk, ain't no oops, I'm gonna edit that later. No. So that helps you remember you are actually talking to people. You're having a conversation, and in conversations, you're not going back and editing afterwards.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes you wish you would. But to be able to go long form for so long, and then all of a sudden short content was like everywhere, and then platforms were changing their whole setup to now also host short form, right?
Yeah.
Once, who was it first? I think Instagram was first with reels, and then everybody else started having some form of short content, right?
Yeah.
um and I have found it to be valuable because you can quickly and easily grab somebody's attention and then drive the traffic to longer form if you want, or you can strictly do just short form video. Some people are known for that because
Yeah.
that comes from the Vine generation, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so you totally have so much freedom and control over what you would do. Um there was something else I was going to say about shorts. Now, if you're doing them on YouTube, you also have to remember, if you're trying to get your channel monetized as fast as you can, then shorts, you need much, much, much more
Yeah.
watch time.
Yeah. I was
Like,
gonna say
no damn
just
thing.
off of that, like I also support long form, especially if you're doing more like a YouTube route. It's best to have a video actually that's at least a minimum of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's true.
So I love to do those, and I realized I could still do long form without them having to be as long as they used to be. And we're actually in the process of doing exactly what Bree mentioned, for our own channel and stuff, because I actually did download the thousands of Facebook lives that I've done over the years, before they got rid of all of ours. So I have this huge file with that literally thousands of video content that I've done. And I'm like, well, now we have a way to break those up into smaller pieces. There is a tool that I love to use. I swear by it, but you got to be in a profitpreneur to know what that is. And we teach heavily on that too, but it is phenomenal. And I know some people are like, I don't care. I can just go and just find something. I doubt you're going to find what I'm using. So, but it's really beneficial. It'll break it up and also tell you, what is your most likely viral moments out of those longer form videos and stuff, and recommend, hey, put this short out or do this, do that. So it's really good. Anyway, we've been on for quite some time, but I absolutely love this. There's more I wanted to cover, but we'll just have to come back and do it again. So Bree, thank you so much. We try to grab her and get her on here whenever we can. So I appreciate you being on today. You guys, listen, if you want to, really dive more into this, because hopefully you're starting to pick up on what we're picking up here inside the Profitpreneur, which is why we created it. And that is, life is becoming more and more modernized. That has never stopped, right? We're not using ice boxes anymore. We use refrigerators. People don't use the radio as much as their main source of media. Right now, we've got television, we've got social media, we've got the internet. So as things continue to grow and evolve, so are we, and so is the workplace, right? The ways that we earn income is modernizing, it is growing, it is evolving. And you do not want to be one of the ones left behind, because it will affect your life and your family's life and your future. So what we decided to do was put together Profitpreneur. This is an academy. It's like a university. It's like getting a degree almost, because of the level of skill that you get. The higher level of skills, the higher potential you have to get paid and get some higher income. And that is always going to be helpful, whether it's for you or to build your ability to help others. So we have this in place. You can get yourself a 14-day trial with us, so you can at least check it out and see if one of the streams that my husband and I have been able to be successful in is one that may align with you, or maybe all of them like we did. So come check that out. We'd be happy to have you here as a part of the community. Bree is also a product of being able to learn this modern era of earning income. So she will definitely be around as well. Thanks again, you guys. We can't wait to see you back here, same time, same channel, because Fridays are our tech days. And we're going to have that amazing genius, another family member. My husband, Sonny, will be on tomorrow to really, dive into that and make it simpler for all of us. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.